I'll be going over the Necromancer Skeletal Mage Singularity build for Season 20 of Diablo 3. Now, this version of this build is a little bit different than the Legacy of Dreams version. A lot of the people that are climbing the leaderboards are running the Legacy of Dreams version, but a couple of people I've noticed have been pushing just a little bit further without running the Legacy of Dreams bonus. Now, this is the build I will be going over. This is a GR 133 pushing build as of this video. So starting off, I'm going to be going over the skills. I'll go into the cubed items, and then we'll go to the gear. This is to better help you understand where the gear comes in for the skills that you're running, so that way you know what you are actually running before I go into the descriptions of the gear. Reason being I'm doing this is because some of the gear has effects for skills that you don't use, but they do have the effect for the ones that you do use, if that makes sense. So, starting off, we'll be running Skeletal Mage with Singularity, Land of the Dead with Frozen Lands, Frailty with Early Grave, Bone Armor with Dislocation, Simulacrum. I can never pronounce that word, so bear with me with my butchering of words as I usually do. With Reservoir, Devour with Devouring Aura, and for our passives, we'll be running Overwhelming Essence, Blood is Power, Rathma's Shield, and Final Service. And now for our cubed items, we'll be running Crispin's Sentence. You deal 100% increased damage against slowed enemies, or triple this bonus against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. Relina's Shadow Hook. Every point of maximum essence increases your damage by 0.5%, and Bone Spikes and generates 5 additional essence for each enemy hit. Tragul's Corroded Fang. The Cursed Scythe rune for Grim Scythe now has a 100% chance to apply a curse, and you deal 200% increased damage to cursed enemies. Now, starting with our equipment, we'll work our way from the weapon all the way up and around. We'll be running Scythe of the Circle with Arcane Damage, Damage Percent, Attack Speed, Crit Hit Damage, Intel from Augmentation, Cooldown of all skills, Maximum Essence, and your secondary skills deal 400% additional damage while Bone Armor is active, but reduce the remaining duration of Bone Armor by 4 seconds. This has an emerald socket into the socket. For our gauntlets, we'll be running Tasker and Theo with Intelligence, Attack Speed, Crit Hit Damage, Crit Hit Chance, Intelligence from Augmentation, and Physical Resistance as a potential secondary effect. The Tasker and Theos increase attack speed of your pets by 50%. For shoulders, we'll be running Spalders of Zakara with Intelligence, Vitality, Resist all elements, Intel from Augmentation, reduced cooldown of all skills by 8%, and Spalders of Zakara makes your items become indestructible. This isn't like a super amazing effect. However, I can see where it comes in, where if you're dying a lot in the rifts, you don't have to drop out to go repair your gear and jump back in. But that's, it's the bonus from it. You get the cooldown and the other effects. So there is that. The gold for monsters is kind of nulled out in GRs as usual because they don't drop gold. Unless there's a seasonal effect that makes it so gold drops in GRs, which I don't know if they've actually done that yet. That could be interesting. For our chest piece, we'll be running Requiem of Seraplate with Intelligence, Vitality, Damage percent from elite monster attacks. That's a reduction. Intelligence from Augmentation, potential poison resistance, and the chest plate makes it so Devour restores an additional 100% essence and life. In addition, when Devour restores essence or life above your maximum, the excess is granted over 3 seconds. So if you're at full health and you get that, if you lose some health, you'll get that back after that happens. For 3 seconds, though. So take advantage of running that. For our helmet, we'll be running Leoric's Crown with Intelligence, Crit Hit Chance, Intelligence from Augmentation, reduction of cooldown of all skills by 25%, and Skeletal Mage damage. That comes from the, well, not the Skeletal Mage damage. The cooldown of all skills by 25% comes from a diamond in the Leoric's Crown. Leoric's Crown, I'm sure, as if you've speed leveled in any season to Diablo, you've run Leoric's Crown. It's really good for getting XP super quick. It increases the effect of any gem socketed into it by 100%. It does not apply to legendary gems, but I mean, 25% cooldown. Whew, wonderful. I'm actually kind of surprised more builds don't run that run cooldown reduction, but who am I to say? For our necklace, we're running Squirt's Necklace with physical skill damage, crit hit chance, intelligence from augmentation, potential reduction to damage from ranged attacks. Our socket will have a Bane of the Trapped in it. Increased damage against enemies under the effects of control and pairing effects by a percentage. Gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies within 15 yards by 30%. While not taking damage, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%, and damage taken is increased by up to 50%. For our bracers, we'll be running Nemi bracers with physical skill damage, intel, vitality, crit hit chance, intelligence from augmentation, and potential arcane resistance. Nemi bracers make it so shrines and pylons will spawn an enemy champion, which is super good for doing just regular rifts and GR rifts. Any pylon you come across will spawn a group of elites, and if you kill those, you get the coins that go towards your percentage of the GR completed. Super fast way to complete GRs. It's also really good just for grinding out keys to GRs, because you can burn through rifts super quick as long as pylons pop up. That also kind of makes me think that this build runs also based on heavy reliance on the pylons popping up in it. I imagine you can probably climb a lot quicker if the rift you get into has more pylons. For our offhand, we'll be running Bone Ringer with damage, intel, crit hit chance, intel from augmentation, reduces cooldown of all skills by a percentage, maximum essence, skeletal mage damage percent. Bone Ringer makes it so the damage bonus of command skeletons is increased by up to 26% per second. They spend attacking the same target. This effect stacks up to 60 times. For our first ring, we'll be running Convention of Elements with intel, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, intel from augmentation, and a potential poison resistance. In our socket, we'll be running Legacy of Dreams. This will have this will give 200% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. This effect rotates through the elements available to your class in the following order: Arcane, Cold, Fire, Holy, Lightning, Physical, Poison. This bonus is doubled for ancient items. While you have no set bonuses equipped, every legendary item you have equipped increases your legendary or your damage dealt by 375% and reduces your damage taken by 2%. Now, also, like what I was saying at the beginning of the video, I might have missaid, there are some builds that are running without Legacy of Dreams. There are a lot of people currently climbing. This is the top build that is still running Legacy of Dreams, but there are some builds that are pushing up and starting to come up very quickly. So I'm not sure if it's going to beat out the Legacy of Dreams builds yet. We'll see with some time, but right now this is the top one, so I'm just covering that for the moment. I will update you guys if anything changes, of course. For a secondary ring, we'll be running Stone of Jordan with physical skill damage, crit hit damage, intelligence from augmentation, maximum essence for Necromancer only, and damage percent to elite enemies. This will have a Enforcer socketed into it. Increase the damage of your pets by a percentage. Your pets take 90% less damage. For our boots, we'll be running a Lessery Boots with intel, vitality, intel from augmentation, movement speed, and skeletal mage damage. Lesser boots, I'm sure you've heard of. You may move unhindered through enemies. This also makes it so you can walk through the barriers that enemies will throw up. Really great for avoiding damage or really getting cornered, I should say. For our pants, we'll be running Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, Intelligence, Vitality, Armor, Intel, and 2 Topaz in the sockets. Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, your resource generation and damage is increased by 25% while moving and decreased by 23% while standing still. For our belt, we'll be running the Witching Hour with Intel, attack speed percent, crit hit damage, life per second, intelligence from augmentation, and a potential poison resistance. Now, all of these items I did skip over the gold pickup radius thing. That's up to you if you want that. Depending on how the build runs, sometimes it can help a little bit, but it's not a primary stat to be looking for. You always want to go for the top stat blocks and then focus on the below ones like the maximum essence or skeletal mage damage, the purple stats. You always want to go for those second and then focus on your third skills. Third skills are not primary. They're things you can avoid. You don't have to have them. They're just there. If you get it, great. If you don't, oh well. You always want to focus on the percentages of your higher tier stats. Reroll those first, then worry about the rest. Primals obviously are going to always be maxed out, so you're pretty much just re-rolling a specific stat that you don't need for a stat that you do need. And I am really sorry for the people who get primals that are missing 2 stats that they need, because that is a really terrible day when that happens. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, hit the like button. I'd love to do more of these videos for you guys more regularly. I'd love to do gameplay for them, build them out myself, and show you guys how they run. It's just not in my schedule. If I were doing this full time, I would be doing that, but it's just kind of me doing this to help people out with getting their stats and stuff, like while they're playing, and kind of keeping you updated on things that are going on. But anyway, stay safe out there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.